Owners of Volkswagen Beetles, how do you feel knowing that, when you drive your car, countless people punch each other for being the first to see it? Driving next to a school is priceless. All the kids punching each other never fails to make me laugh. I had a vice principal who drove a Beetle. I knew she was evil, but I never thought about it like that. Hahaha, dumb kids punching each other each time I drive by. I'm going to do a loop and look at them punch each other again. Imagine not knowing about the game and just assuming kids just like to randomly beat each other. This is why I hate kids. They're always hitting each other. That's why I'm the strict vice principal. Someone has to discipline these psychopaths. It's one of the reasons I got it. I like this thinking. I have a sticker on my window that says punch buggy to remind them. I always called slug bug, or more accurately slow sound of me getting hit. I take a joyride not for myself, but for the tradition. You telling me it's not a joy to see people punching one another at the sight of your car? It must be lol. I had to get rid of mine because I couldn't stop laughing maniacally as soon as the engine started. So much violence, all because I needed bread and eggs. I drove a lime green VW Bug for over a decade. There is nothing more satisfying than pulling up to a red light and seeing a car kid beam the shit out of their sibling in the back seat. Related, we were extremely aggressive about our punch bug games while in my car. Something about calling punch bug while in a bug made the whole thing a lot more fun. We'd keep a running tally for weeks until someone forgot the totals and we had to start over. Also, kids just love Beetles anyway. I used to get so many comments and questions about my car, but my favorites were from little kids. I miss that car. Edit. Another fun fact I'd forgotten. 2000 bugs had dashboards made of this plastic that smells identical to crayons when it gets warm. So after sitting in the sun all day it would smell like a box of Crayola. People would accuse me of leaving crayons in my car, but I eventually found out it was the dash. It was so charming and silly. I loved it. I have no siblings, and so I got into a violent altercation in elementary school when a kid decided to teach me that game with no warning. Edit. Violent altercation equals flailing and crying sorry for not being rigorous with my language. Your lie was like 6. I hope you apologized and offered him a tasty Hertz donut. No, I just cried and didn't understand, but now that you mention it, I would love to have a delicious home-baked Hertz donut. It was always funny to see it happen. Like sitting at a stoplight and the 12-ish-year-old girl slugging the crap out of maybe her older brother. You could see the gleam in her eyes as she punched him in the arm. I sold my Bug several years back. I miss that car. Maybe they'll bring them back to the States in another 10 or so years. Unfortunately, they actually cancelled production of the whole Beetle line as of last year, I believe. Yes, but I mean, think about it. It's a popular car. Surely they'll give it a new design and bring it back eventually. Perfect size for a full electric release in a few years. Batteries just keep getting smaller. A lightning bug? Someone call VW's marketing team /u/v marketing team. That ought to do it. Drove my first car, VW Super Beetle, past a bus stop. Saw a fist fight break out. I've seen that happen without a Beetle in sight. This is actually pretty common at bus stops. I once saw a couple of crackheads get into a fight with the bus stop itself. No joke. I used to have a Beetle, and it was hilarious. Anytime you drove past kids, you'd always see one get excited and hit the others. Never hard enough to injure or anything, just good light-hearted fun. Wait, we weren't supposed to slug each other as hard as possible? If there's no bruise, you lose. Gotta dislocate that fucking shoulder. I had a buddy that would drive laps around the junior high in his fucking sadist Lamfeo. If a VW Beetle does a U-turn, does it get same type attack bonus? Yes. You can also get that from any car with protein. Incredible. I drive by elementary schools on their recess when I'm feeling down and watch the chaos ensue. Suddenly I want a Volkswagen. I used to drive a Bug. Nothing gave me a greater sense of power than one time at a stoplight I saw one kid deliberately pound his friend in the arm. Few men know such power. As I drove off I laughed at the heavens. For a moment I was God, and my wrath was felt. I was God once. I saw. You were doing very well, until everyone died. That's one of the best episodes. A wake of violence follows my 2007 Silver Shoulder Bruiser. I haven't seen happy children in years. Also the dashboard is insanely huge, and it smells like crayons. Also someone stole my plastic flower 7/10. Yes. I drove one for years, and always told people it smelled like crayons. It's such a specific smell. I miss that car. Oh my god, did all bugs just smell like crayons? Mine did too. When I was in middle school, the school bus would drive by a used VW car lot. It was like Fight Club on wheels. Best description ever. This sounds amazing. I'm so sad I never got to experience that. Never heard of such thing. We do this with minis in my country. There aren't anywhere near enough Beetles here. What country? I have a Mini and a VW, so I could really enjoy myself there. I'm in the UK and have always played it as many pinch and a punch for any car colored yellow. You guys are just looking for any reason to beat each other up, aren't you? I have a 10 years old stepson who loves to punch my arm right between the shoulder and bicep. You know the spot, with his bony little knuckles on my bony little arm. He knows it pisses me off a little, but he does it anyway. Good thing I love him. So you are referring to the punch bug game. I'd like to submit my own entry. The PT Bruiser game, same concept, different car. Cruiser Bruiser. Combine it with Slug Bug. Just say which one you're punching them for double the fun. Better yet, punch them every time you see a car. My bloodthirsty siblings used to do this every time we saw the following. Beetle, of course. Cruiser. Police car. Jeep. Truck nuts. Lifted truck. The last three. I live in a rural area. We would literally punch the ever-living fuck out each other for that shit. A car ride to the local grocery store would end with screaming and bruises. Question. Do owners of VW Beetles play punch bug? And who do they punch when they walk out of the house in the morning and see their car? Do they have to go back in and punch their soul kids that punch themselves in the nads? Source. My imagination. I have a 1972 Super Beetle and it's yellow. My favorite thing is when driving around and noticing all the people hitting their friends and loved ones because I'm rolling past. It's the little things in life. Would you recommend me owning one? I've always thought about owning one as a cool addition, preferably in red or yellow. I drive a 79 convertible Super. I cannot recommend owning one enough. I never heard about this. Thank you. I was wandering in this thread and didn't see anyone weirded out by the question. I was like, WTF, why would people punch each other to see a fucking beetle? I've been driving Beetles on and off for almost 30 years. Honestly, it was much worse years ago. Now kids just look at it like it's a spaceship or something. It's just a rolled VW. They are cars. Drive the hell out of them and rebuild them again. People that drive VW bugs just think it's normal for others to be abusing each other in the car. I just taught my daughter about slug bugs this summer. It has been a really tough year for us, but slug bug has been a highlight. I don't actually slug her, she's 8. Never heard of that one. We used to do yellow cars. Anything yellow we would punch. Then double numbers on license plates would be a punch and triple would be a kick. I have a yellow car with triple number on license plate. It has some special punishment. See, for a yellow car with a triple number you just shoot the person. My mom drives one, and every time we see another one on the road she punches me in the shoulder as hard as she can. Gonna be honest, it isn't nice. A friend of mine had a bug 20 years ago. We were definitely cognizant of this fact. Always pointed it out when we noticed. What kind of punch car games does what country have? In the Netherlands we punch each other when we see a Twingo. I assume that the Beetle punch game is something American? Yep. Kids around here say punch buggy, no punch back when you hit someone, but I think people also say slug bug or slugger bug, like a regional thing. Deeply satisfied. I got it painted neon green specifically so nobody will miss it. Did you know slug bug was originally invented by Nazi-era Volkswagen in an effort to make American arms slightly less functional? All they managed to do was toughen up one arm of little brothers everywhere. I spent way too long thinking about how a smaller profile car would be harder for American munitions to target. Former Beetle owner. I was too busy working overtime hours to pay for repairs to worry about that. Never buying a Volkswagen ever again. They got my money twice but never again. Could not agree more. My mom and I both had Beetles. Mine was a 2001. Can't remember hers, and we were always taking them into the shop. Mine met its demise by catching fire on the highway. Got my daughter a diesel bug for her birthday, old and high mileage, and the first thing she said, "I'm going to drive by all my haters and wait to see them get punched." It was a proud mom moment. We do it with Renault Twingos. Not fun. This one time, when we were heading for an away football match, 12 kilometers far, we encountered over 150 Twingos. Quite a popular car over here. Even worse if it's a yellow Volkswagen Beetle. I heard in Russia you have to dislocate their arm if someone sees one first. That's why my aunt always holidays in Russia. What the fuck? Hey, what? Finally relevant. My first car was a bright red backquote 98 Beetle. My dad surprised me with it when I was just shy of 19. I was stoked. First thing I'll learn when I drive to show my friends that I finally have a car and they don't have to take me home anymore. My butt gets in and drives it and peels away and into a perfect 180 e-brake spin in the middle of the road and just laughs hysterically and said, "The turning radius is legit. It's actual science." There was a perfect amount of silence as my heartbeat slowed down and my 3D said, "It totally smells like crayons in here, dude." Lol, I had a black 2000 Beetle and my friends did this as well. I was too young and dumb to stop them. My favorite part though was that I had this gay coworker who drove a new red Firebird convertible and he loved my car so much we would trade for the weekend. He was also dumb to give his car to a 17-year-old girl. I love my Beetle. Once while driving through a parking lot I saw a kid, maybe 9yo, with what looked like maybe his grandfather. I saw his face light up when he saw my car and immediately turned and punched the older guy in the nuts. It was like a reflex. Immediately after, his face changed to a "what have I done" expression. I laughed the whole way home. Heavy sigh. I backquote can't do slug bugs without someone crying "oh www. That hurt. WTF, I barely even touched you" takes all the fun out of it. I stopped playing it with my sister because she liked to wear rings. My ex and I did tickle bug instead. Makes the game more fun. We no longer play this game. The Great Punch Buggy Truce was confirmed in 2011 and has yet to be broken by either nation. Since the dawn of the Punch Buggy War, when newer ones were worth 1 punch and originals were worth 5 to the final battle of that one dealership we drove by that had, like 20 old ones outside. The truce shall not be broken and must, for our kids' sake, be honored. I never thought about it that way. I just always thought it was weird that other VW bug owners give you a hand wave like motorcycles do. I mean, it makes sense, but apparently I'm in a gang. Amazing, especially when you're behind a school bus. I have started full-blown brawls and maybe ended a few friendships. It's a vulgar display of power, but it's fun as hell. Seriously though, the best part about owning a Beetle, I have a 72, is that you make friends everywhere you go. The car stirs up so many memories for people and I love it when they take the time to share them with me. When I was a kid my mother drove a wood paneled caravan. She looked up as soon as she heard Beaver Slug. There was a fist fight between the two men. The man who gave the beaver slug lost and his buddy, the receiver of said beaver slug, had to help him up. This is underrated. I absolutely love it. I'm on my second Beetle, and I was a bit worried that this new generation of kids wouldn't know about the punch buggy thing. My fave is driving past school buses and seeing the kids giving each other a smack. I always wave and smile really theatrically when I meet other Beetles on the road because I feel a sense of camaraderie with them, but I only have about a 40% success rate with this. I owned a Beetle in high school and college. It was genuinely sometimes the thing that made my day a little better if it was shitty. Just so many little kids seeing their eyes light up and then immediately punch their sibling. The end. Thanks for watching.